Hey there, it's Brittany, and I am back with one of my favorite days of the month. The Bargain Bead Box is here. Unfortunately, it came really late again this month, so I'm sorry I'm getting it to you super late. We have Sparkling Snowfall. Your beads. It's a Winter Wonderland. An Apatite Teardrop Pendant is this month's centerpiece with microfaceted 3mm Apatite rounds, a strand of 8mm blue agate, and dyed tiger iron to match. Icy accents of crystal, glass, and gemstone combined with a with a set of snowy silver findings to complete the collection. If you're a subscriber, you get a 30% off coupon to use in their sister store, beadboxbargains.com. Here's the box this month. It's so funny. For like the last 3 months in a row, Bargain Bead Box and a couple other bead boxes have like the same color palette and even the same gemstones. Like another box had Apatite this month too. So it's wild to me. All right, so we're gonna unbox some of these. If you're interested in subscribing, use coupon code Turquoise at the affiliate link in the description of this video, and you'll get $2 off your first box. Ooh, I'm loving these. I don't know what these are. Okay, let's see. 13 by 9mm glass top drilled teardrop beads, crystal AB, 5.5 inches. And there's, oh, they started putting the prices on them too. I don't know if I noticed that last month, but that's the way that they're justifying the MSRP, which they're saying is about $83.82 this month. These are so awesome. I love these. Oh, my camera is not really focusing. I'm on the struggle bus with this new camera. It's the iPhone 15, and I feel like it's worse than my iPhone 8 was. I cannot believe the struggle that I've had with this phone since I got it. But anyway, that's not here or there, but I'm telling you, if you notice a difference, it's because I got a new camera. Sorry. I'm sorry. I needed a new phone, but I might have to end up getting an actual dedicated camera for this because it's just not doing the things I want it to do. Anyway, these are gorgeous. Love those. Let's see. We have 6mm moonstone, in parentheses, I call this Mermaid Glass, glass rounds, frosted aqua, 7.5 inches, approximately $6.99. That's a very high price for this size of bead on a 7.5 inch string. I don't know that I would pay that, but it's a really pretty bead. It's really pretty. I love Mermaid Glass. 14 by 12mm platinum plated brass snowflake cutout charms, 2 pieces, $3.99. These are teeny tiny. They're cute. I don't think I'm okay. So after this item, I don't think I'm going to comment on the price because I just don't see that as an actual price that I would ever pay for these 2 charms. So that's the last one I'm commenting on because I don't think they line up with what we actually see in bead stores and stuff like that. 22 by 20mm teal coated fan pendant, lead, nickel, cadmium free, 2 pieces. These are super duper cute. They actually look a little bit more like coral or like sea animal-ish to me, but I love them. They're really adorable. 3mm Apatite faceted round beads, 7.5 inches. Super teeny tiny. Little babies. Love those. They're gorgeous. I don't use a lot of Apatite. I have some, and it's usually from a bead box, but I forget Apatite exists because I, don't really use that color blue a lot. Maybe I'll challenge myself to use that today. 14 by 8.5mm crystal faceted twist beads, slate blue iris, 10 pieces. Very pretty. Again, not a color blue that I typically use, but mostly because I go towards turquoise. They're gorgeous though. 5 by 2mm rondelle spacers, lead, nickel, cadmium free, 10 grams. Cute. Always love a spacer. Those are very generic. I love that. Sometimes those are the best kind. 3 by 2mm stainless steel curb chain, 1 meter. It's a nice chain. I would probably use that for hanging just like one pendant or maybe cutting lengths to dangle from stuff. 10mm tiger iron dyed round beads, 7 inches. I don't think I've ever seen tiger iron that looks like this. And I don't know that I'm getting a very good picture of it on camera. It's gorgeous. I love it. I've never seen that before. Those are so nice. I know it's dyed, but I love that color being dyed with the tiger iron. I think that's really cool. 20 by 12mm swirled toggle clasp antique silver, 4 sets. These are nice. The cool thing about this is you can also use this as a charm dangle. Like if you wanted to hang this as a charm on something and then hang more charms from it. I think that's like a typical look that you would see one of those pieces with. 28 by 11mm stainless steel laser cut triple snowflake link. 1 link with 3. Oh, look, and it's like a bracelet bar. This would be really pretty with the apatite as a bracelet. So maybe we'll make a really simple bracelet using those two. I don't know, but I do want to use these. They look like little cloud rain droplets or something. I don't know. 6mm 6 petal bead caps, 40 pieces, lead nickel cadmium free. Cute, 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 cute. 4mm crystal faceted bicone beads, crystal AB, 13 inches. We've got the monthly bicones. Approximately 39mm apatite teardrop pendant. Oh wow, that's lovely. We're definitely going to wire wrap that today. It's really pretty. And I'm sure everybody got a slightly different one, but this is really gorgeous. I love that. 8mm London blue agate, dyed and heated, round bead, 14.5 inches. Sometimes I don't like the look of dyed agate, but usually Bargain Bead Box does a really good job with sourcing their dyed agate beads. These it's brighter, it's not muted. Like this one is muted, and that's typically what I see in strands that I don't like, but the whole strand isn't like that, right? So I like this one. You can see the bands clearly. You can see the delineation between the blue and the white. It's not all just like one color mixed together. Actually, I think we have 2 more things after this one. 6mm crackle agate, dyed and heated, frosted round beads, 13 inches. These are lovely. I love frosted beads. Those are so cool. This is a nice box. I really like this box. I think they put a lot of thought into it. I think this is 5 or 6mm by 7mm hematite, which is man-made, snowflake beads in silver, 20 pieces. Super duper cute. Adorable. Love those. I don't really love snow, but those are cute. And then last but certainly not least, 12mm stainless steel snowflake cutout links, 2-piece. These are very similar, but just not textured to the ones we saw earlier. So really good comprehensive box that matches, goes really well, coordinates. There were some things I really, really liked in here. I love these bubbles. I love the tiger iron. I love the apatite pendant and these toggles. So let me kind of brainstorm and we'll come back and make a piece. Okay, we're going to make a necklace and a bracelet at least. I haven't figured out what to do with these bubbles, even though I love them so, 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 so much. Right, I'm going to wire wrap my little charm onto my pendant. It's going to dangle from there. I'm using some 22 gauge German style wire. I'm going to cut off quite a bit because I think I want a lot of wraps here. So I'm going to thread my wire onto my pendant just a little bit, pull both ends up, and then wire wrap that shorter end around the long end. Okay, just to hold and lock that pendant in place. And then we'll be wire wrapping down with the longer piece in just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to start a loop. This is quite a bit of wire, but better safe than sorry. Bend backwards, reposition, bend forwards again, reposition, and then pull this through to the back. And I have a loop, it's a little big. Just slide on my charm. Move that down to my pendant. All right, and then we will go and lock that in. Hold that, and we'll lock that in by wire wrapping it down toward the pendant. Okay, and I'll be able to make that look a little prettier in just a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and start wire wrapping the top of this pendant, and I want to make sure that this part of my wire is lined up with the tip of the pendant, because it wasn't, and it will show if you don't do that. It'll look lopsided. So if you start wrapping like that, it's gonna come back to bite you. So you want to hold that as much as you can, and it's a little difficult on camera because there's a camera between me and the piece, but just kind of hold this in place as much as you can, and just keep moving it back and forth if needed. And I have quite a bit of wire here, but that's okay. See, I'm starting to pull, and you don't really want to pull. You just want it to kind of hold it in place while you're doing that. If you want a messy wrap, go for messy. We might turn this into a messy wrap after a minute if it doesn't look the way I want it to. No, it's looking okay. It's out of the way. And then I'm going to come back up, and I'm going to just fill out that wire wrap at the top a little bit because it was a little skinny. We know we love chunky on this channel. All right, so I'm going to turn this forward. There we go. And we have that hanging from our little connector. And I'm just, see, I used way too much wire, but guess what? I still have the wire. It's not wasted. Just put it back in my little container. All right, so here is our pendant. Isn't that fun? Sorry, my fingerprints are all over it. And then we're going to string. I have some 19 strand bead stringing wire from Beadalon. I'm using these agates. I am going to use the crystals, shocker, and then I'm going to use these 3.2 millimeter beads that I had in my stash. I'm literally just going to alternate the beads. I'm going to start with a blue, one of my metal beads. I'm going to open up these crystals. And I'm going to put on a crystal, then a metal, then an agate, and then you got it. I'm just going to keep doing that pattern. And what that'll do is it's going to bring into focus the agate beads more so than they would if you just strung a whole string of agate beads, because you're going to have some delineation between each bead with that crystal and the metal, and it's really going to focus the beautiful colors of the agate. Oh, we spilled some. And then if you have like less favorite beads like of the agate in the back, or less favorites of the agate, put those in the back. Now, I wanted smaller, you know what? I want smaller metal beads than that, because I wanted, and I don't know if I have them. Oh, I have seed beads that I think will work a little bit better just because they're teeny tiny. We'll start with a seed bead, a crystal, seed bead, and then an agate. And then we're just going to go with that same pattern until it's as long as I want or I run out of beads. But I think it'll be okay because there was, I think, 14 inches of the agate beads, and then we're adding in 2 other styles, so I think it'll end up being long enough. You can see it's starting to look a little wintry. I'm just going to string, and then I'll be back when I put on the pendant. Okay, so I've strung several beads onto my wire. It's beautiful. It's super simple, but these are some very patterned beads and a pendant, so you could end up eventually taking away from that if you're doing something very complicated. And then I just put 4 seed beads in the middle, hung my connector on a jump ring, and then I'm just going to fill up the rest of the necklace with the same pattern. Okay, so I have some crimp tubes, I have the clasps, and I've strung this necklace. It's so pretty. I was thinking about giving it away, but no, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll need to keep it. But I'm gonna put on a crimp tube, part of my toggle. If you want to use a jump ring here, you can. If you want to use a wire guard, you can. It is personal preference. I don't use wire guards for the most part, unless I'm worried about part of my bead or my clasp or something being too sharp for my wire. So I'm going to make sure that those wires are not crossed, which they are at the moment. Scooch that little crimp tube as close to my toggle as I can with giving it some slack a little bit, and then I'll just put that in my crimping pliers and squish. I did a live today for JTV, and I said squish about 75 times. It's my favorite part of crimping. And squish again and squish one more time. I'm going to move some of those beads down. Hopefully that this wire will go through those seed beads twice, because I don't really like just leaving the wire cut at the crimp. I just don't think it looks nice. All right, and I'll come back through a couple of these. All right, and then I'm just going to scooch everything down, making sure there aren't any gaps in my necklace, or at least noticeable gaps. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. Put a crimp tube on, put on the other side of the clasp, and then come back down through that crimp and a few of these beads. Now, crimping this side is going to be just a hair different because we always have to get some leverage and pull. It's not just like crimping and then moving on. I would say this is the hardest part about crimping, is getting the second side to look good without any excess wire or gaps throughout the project. And now I can't get through the seed bead. Here we go. And then what I'm going to do here is take my tail, okay, take my clasp, and I'm going to pull. But this seed bead's really tight, so it's probably going to be a little bit less easy to do than it normally would. But typically, if your beads aren't too tight, you can pull with little issue. But we're having an issue because this guy was a little tighter than the rest of the beads. Okay, so I'm just making sure no excess gaps where there shouldn't be any. All right, and then I'm going to pull that away from there a little bit. And we'll crimp. 1, 2, 3, squish. Turn it 90 degrees. Squish again. Make sure you're not squishing your seed bead because it'll crack off if it's glass. And then we will nip the extra wire here. And I didn't get close enough, so I'll do that one more time. Make sure you don't cut your main wire. All right, there we go. And we'll do this side. here is our necklace, and then we'll move into the bracelets. This is really pretty. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Lovely, beginner-friendly gemstone necklace. All right, so then I'm gonna make a bracelet using the bracelet bar, the apatite, clasp, and I think there was a charm that I wanted to use. There was, now I just have to find it. I think it's interesting on both sides. Just need a jump ring or two. Actually, we're gonna use 2 jump rings for this bracelet. And I have my bead stringing wire. All right, so these apatites are super duper teeny tiny. Hopefully they fit on this wire. If they don't, you might need to use like a 7-strand instead. I typically don't use 7-strand, but if I need to, I will. I'm gonna grab, I guess I don't need a seed bead. They fit on perfectly fine. So I'm going to put on a section, and then I am going to go ahead and crimp this onto the clasp. So we're going to have to do 4 crimps for this bracelet because the bracelet bar has 2 connections, and then we have our clasp. So we'll have to crimp 4 times. These holes are teeny tiny, hard to see. We might have trouble coming through them twice, but we'll get to that when we're crimping. And sometimes they say take a bunch of beads off at once, and then like hold them, like pinch them to hold them together. Sometimes that doesn't work with these teeny tiny beads, mostly because I can't see them. And they turn around when you're holding them. Yeah, that's not working very well. All right, I don't have all my beads on for one of the sides yet, but I'm not going to bore you to death with me just stringing on beads. I'm going to put on a crimp tube, maybe find a crimp bead instead of a crimp tube for this one because this is going to show on the front. Yeah, I'm going to get a crimp bead instead of a tube. It's just a little smaller, and these apatite beads are small too if we use a crimp bead instead of a crimp tube. So this says we need a number 1 crimp bead. 0, 3, 2, and 1. So I'll put on my crimp bead, see how much smaller that is than the tube was. Come through my pendant or my connector, come back through my crimp. And you can flat crimp here, you can folded crimp, you can use a crimp cover, whatever. I think by this point you all know you can customize your piece. But I'll keep saying it because I mean, we do get new subscribers every day, which I'm so thankful for, the new and the old. And, you know, maybe you haven't seen a video where I was talking about this before. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and crimp this. If you want to use a jump ring here, that's totally fine. Go ahead and crimp or squish, turn 90 degrees. We're going to squish again. And I will squish one more time. I'm going to decide later whether or not I want to use a crimp tube or a crimp cover because I don't really like how that looks. And then I'm going to move down my apatite beads, see if we can get a couple of these through twice, but I doubt it. I think these have smaller holes than those seed beads did. They do. So I think I will be using a crimp cover on this bracelet just to make it look a little better. I'm going to go ahead and trim my second wire here right up against that crimp. And then I'm just going to feed on more beads, do the same thing on the other side, and put a clasp on it. Okay, so I've completed my bracelet, but I did want to show you how I'm putting on a crimp cover. This is what a crimp cover looks like. I usually open them up a little bit more than they come open with my, slimmer nosed pliers. I slip that into the bead and just pry apart, and it opens it a little bit more. Like that. And then I just hold it in my plier jaws and slip it over whatever crimp I have on the bracelet. So, oops. I'm gonna go ahead and just crimp that down. And it just looks like another silver bead instead of a connection point. So I'm just gonna make sure that it's closed correctly. I had to open it up a little bit. You just kind of keep closing it until it looks good to you. So here's our bracelet. I did put the loop toggle on with a jump ring because I wanted to hang a charm. We know I do this with a lot of bracelets. It's fun to have a charm on a bracelet. I'm just going to take a jump ring that I've already opened, slip on my charm, and then slip that charm onto, or that jump ring onto the other jump ring, and close it up. And these might look like they're a little stiff. It's the connection point here. It's not really this. So there's a lot of give in there because when I crimped either side, I crimped it while it was like this, not in a straight line. Otherwise, we'd have an issue. We want it to be loosey-goosey, remember? We're going to close that up. And here is my bracelet. I have a little bracelet holder I can show you on. So cute. So there we go. Isn't that cute? And then here's the little charm part. It's just nice to have like little finishing touches like the crimp covers and jump rings and little charms. It just elevates your jewelry. So even if you're a beginner, you can still use these things, okay? Just keep trying. But thanks for watching. If you're interested in subscribing to the Bargain Bead Box, check out the affiliate link below. It helps the channel, and you get $2 off your first box by using coupon code Turquoise. So I'll include pictures of the bracelet and the necklace. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for Goldie. She's super cute. Bye-bye.